Good morning. As you gathered from the song that we heard this morning and the title of the lecture, Sit and Close Your Eyes, we'll be talking about meditation today. Now, what is meditation, first of all, and why do we want to do it? Meditation is basically learning to control your mind, to focus it and direct it. But why do we want to be able to do this? Many reasons. Many, many reasons. And each religion seems to promote or advocate practicing meditation. Christians, Islamic, Buddhists, Vedantists, Hindus, every single religion has their form of meditation. And they seem to have had this form of meditation from the beginning of their history. Lately, I know I saw the other day that there's a new book out by a newscaster who talks about meditation can change your life. And I saw a little blip on the news, and he said, yes, you can do it in the subway for 3 minutes. Okay. I'm not saying this is wrong. If you take the time, it is a constant remembrance. It is constantly bringing your mind back to a focus, which is good. 3 minutes on the subway, I'm not sure how far you'd get, but you might calm yourself down. In every religion, there seems to be a set regime. Things you must do to prepare for meditation. First, you must find a comfortable seat. Now, be it sitting in full lotus posture, half lotus posture, on a cushion, on a kneeling bench, on a chair, something that with your spine straight, your head upright, you can breathe deeply and hold that posture for at least 10 minutes where you're not thinking of your body, oh, that hurts, oh, I've got to move my leg. I can't sit cross-legged anymore. My entire focus would be on, oh, that hurts. Oh, it would be. So I find a comfortable chair. I try not to get too cozied into it. It's important that your spine be straight. Every religion says this. Then they say to close your eyes and start breathing regularly. Inhalation, exhalation, without conflicting thoughts. Okay, so would everyone like to find their straight-backed posture? Close your eyes. And I'm going to read a guided meditation for you to concentrate on. So, everyone got their posture? Okay. Let us relax the body and the mind. Gather your thoughts and meditate on the divine being in the depth of the heart. Think of the Supreme Being as the source of all life, all strength, all wisdom, all love, and all joy. It is the adorable one. It seems to be very far away from us, but in fact, it is the nearest of the near. It is the soul of our souls. In order to reach it, we don't have to go anywhere. We can find it in the depth of our heart through meditation. Whatever power we have, whatever joy we experience, whatever wisdom we hold, are all derived from the Supreme Being. Apparently, we gain joy from various objects. Apparently, we gain strength from many resources. But it is the one source of all joy, of all strength. Every expression of joy is from the Supreme Being. Every expression of power is from the Supreme Being. We seldom think of the source. The water that we get from the faucet does not come from the faucet. It has a source far away. In the same way, all joys have one source, and that source is the Supreme Being. The Supreme Being is the Supreme Self. It is the all-pervading Self. It is the innermost essence of everything. It is the underlying reality that makes everything appear as real. Our power is limited. Our joy is limited. Our knowledge is limited. Because we do not turn to the one source of all power, all knowledge, all joy. Let us turn to that source. The source is the soul of all souls. Turn your inner eye to the innermost depth of your being. What do you find there? There is the conscious spirit ever shining. The Supreme Being is pure consciousness. The self-shining spirit that enables the eyes to see, that enables the ears to hear, that enables the mind to think, to know, to feel. That conscious spirit within each and every individual is the source of all our strength, of all our joy, and of all our wisdom. And at the back of this individual spirit is the Supreme Self. Think of the Supreme Self as self-luminous, pure spirit, absolute consciousness. Meditate on that light. It is the light that brings purity. It is the light that brings strength. It is the light that brings joy, that brings love. Meditate on that self-effulgent spirit as your innermost being. Through deep meditation, you become united with it. You reach the one source of all blessedness. You become transformed. From that source, purity enters into your mind, into your body. From that source, love enters into your heart. From that source, joy enters into your being. And from that source, all wisdom flows. Meditate on that light of the Supreme Spirit. Think that you have entered into the light, that you are suffused with that light, that you are completely transformed. There is the whole secret of purity, of true love, of true wisdom, to contact that source. How can you contact that source? By turning your thoughts towards it, by meditating on the source with all faith and devotion. Deeply meditate on the Supreme Being until you realize your essential unity with it. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now, this was one type of meditation, a guided meditation, not one that we normally do in the temple, but they're very, very helpful because it gives you a focus, and if you have something to listen to, and it helps your mind from wandering. Because another way we can try this is just sit, close your eyes, and try not to think. Well, no, we'll try a Zen one now, okay? I'm going to try different meditations today. Okay, with a certain type of Zen meditation, you sit, you don't close your eyes. You focus 2 feet in front of your nose, okay, with your eyes 2/3 closed. You try to you are aware of everything that's around you, but you try not to focus on them. And can you put your cell phone away? Thanks. Try not to focus on anything. You are aware of it, you can see it. Don't let your mind grab hold of it. You try to be aware of everything, but don't lose yourself to it. Be aware of the moment, be aware of everything that's going on, but don't let your mind be dragged by anything that distracts you. Now we can try a Buddhist meditation as a loving kindness meditation. The Dalai Lama is often quoted as saying, "My religion is kindness." That's it. That is his religion. So, first of all, you close your eyes, sit down, breathe in and out, say 10 times, and try and settle yourself. Now you start generating feelings of loving kindness and compassion towards yourself. Now towards a friend, your best friend. Now someone what they call a neutral person, someone you have no strong emotion about either way, and generate loving kindness towards them. Now towards a very difficult person in your life. And feel the same loving kindness that you do for yourself and your best friend. Now you expand that to all four of them, your best friend, the one you don't have any emotion about, the difficult person, and now feel it for everyone. Then you try to expand that loving kindness and compassion to everyone in the universe. And according to the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, this gives you a warm, heart-expanded feeling. Okay, now we'll go into more of a talk. Christian meditation. The mystics of Christianity have always done meditations, and they have had mystical visions from time immemorial. They have documented these experiences. If any of you have read The Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis, I hadn't read it for 55 years, and I started reading it in preparation for this talk, and I went, wow, I missed every single point he made 55 years ago. I was not in a place where I could even hear it. This time when I read it, I go, gee, it's almost exactly Raja Yoga with Patanjali's yoga aphorisms. I mean, the exact same directions and things to meditate on. If any of you with a background in Vedanta or having read Raja Yoga, I would recommend rereading Imitation of Christ. Lately, the Christian churches have seemed to have developed a more active meditation practice. And they're talking more and more about discursive meditation, where you pick a verse from the Bible and you try to live that verse. You sit and you meditate on it. You think about what its entire meaning is. Say, for example, from John, these are the two great commandments. Love thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy soul, and thy neighbor as thyself. Now, if you actually took that verse in the Bible and contemplated it for an entire week, what it really meant, peeled off all the layers. Sure, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy soul. We can all say that. But what does it actually mean when you put it into practice in your life? And then they kind of add, and thy neighbor as thyself. Now this to me is, once again, our basic Vedanta beliefs that there is one. And that divinity is in every one of us. We are all actually, in essence, the same. We are one. Christianity says it. Islam says it. All of the major religions say this. We tend to get caught up in the verbal differences or the language differences. But if we go back and look at all of these, they're all telling us that To find the divine source, go within. You don't need to go anywhere. And it doesn't matter which path you follow. If you find a path that speaks to your heart. There's no one right path, and there's no one wrong path. They're all right, they're all true. So, most of us, having been raised in Christianity, got a little more caught up in the dogma and the churches rather than what was actually said. So we rejected it in some cases. Now, speaking for myself personally, I just loved the rites and rituals, and I could have cared less. I had my own religion. Everyone was worshiping God, so they were all Christians. And that was it. I just knew every Christian, yeah, they're all worshiping God. They're fine. Certain things slipped over my head. But find your religion and go deeply into it with meditation. Because of course, we truly believe meditation will lead you to realization, transcendence of this world, pure joy, pure bliss, and pure love. And every religion that I have read so far has said the same thing. Now, okay, we did a little mindfulness meditation, tiny bit. That's the one where you focus on the present moment. Pay attention to your senses, your thoughts, and your emotions, but do not judge them. When they say that Buddhists say, empty your mind, no. You empty your mind of reactions to things that are going on. No one can, at some point, empty your mind. No, you'll rise above your mind. It won't be an issue. The effort in mindfulness meditation, is not to add anything to the present moment or experience. Most of us add the past, the present, the future. We think, oh dear, now if I do this is happening, it's raining outside. Oh dear, do I have my umbrella? Am I going to get caught in the rain? Is my car going to start? Am I going to get caught in a mud puddle? Am I going to get drenched? Now we have added how much to it's raining. And we do this all the time, all of us do it. Or we go, oh, remember the last time it rained? Well, I better stock in some food because we might be stranded. This is a perfectly normal human being thing. But meditation, the mindfulness meditation, asks you to not get distracted by what your past or your contemplation of the future is. To simply live in the moment. There's so many books written about it. The power of the presence of now. People are trying to tell us every day of our lives, live in this moment. This is the only moment you have. None of us know what's going to happen, even in the next second. This is it. This is what we are doing. You can do this by constantly training your mind, not by beating yourself up when you don't remember. Okay, I think everyone can sit down, close their eyes, and they'll think of what they have to do today. Or they'll think about what they did last night. Or they will try and calm their minds. But your mind, every single thing in Maya is drawing us outward. Every sense we are given is drawing us out. And we must learn to recognize that and pull it back in very, very gently, and not being mad at ourselves, not beating ourselves up, but just saying, yep, I am human. I will bring my mind back to the center of my heart and back to consciousness. You can do this at every moment in everything you're doing. It's basically, if you're cooking, cook. If you're doing your job, if you're working on a computer, do that without thinking about what's going on in the office, what's going on, what did he say, what are they doing. Do with full concentration on your job. You'll find that what happens is you have about 10 extra hours a day because you're not distracted, and things get done really quickly when you focus your mind. I'm going to quote this from, can't remember my source, 3 Pillars of Zen, 4 Pillars of Zen, not sure. I'm not good with book titles. It's the Pillars of Zen by Kapleau. There's also the practice of mindfulness during your daily activities, while eating, walking, and talking. For daily life meditation, the practice is to pay attention to what is going on in the present moment, to be aware of what is happening, and not living in automatic mode. If you're speaking, that means pay attention to the words you speak, how you speak them, and to listen with presence and attention. If you're walking, that means being more aware of your body movements, your feet touching the ground, the sounds you're hearing. Every effort you make in your seated practice supports your daily life practice, and vice versa. They're both important. Another type of meditation, which is what we tend to follow here, is mantra meditation. Now, in the 60s, many gurus came from India, and they were all offering mantras and things. Some you paid for, some you didn't. Mantra meditation is primarily aimed at more devotional practices. Often, some people said it didn't matter if the word had any meaning that you were meditating on. Personally, I don't believe that. I believe that every mantra has a certain vibration that sets up a vibration in your being that, it creates a deeper level of understanding. And I will quote again, this is from, I wish I wrote down my quotes. As you repeat the mantra, it creates mental vibrations that allows the mind to experience deeper levels of awareness. As you meditate, the mantra becomes increasingly abstract and indistinct. This is similar to when Ramakrishna tells the stories of you say Gita 100 times, it becomes Tagi. Or if you try to repeat the name of Rama, after 100 repetitions, it becomes Mara. Somehow it creates its own momentum. Now, until you're finally led into the field of pure consciousness from which the vibration arose. Repetition of a mantra also helps you to disconnect when distracting thoughts arise. because the mantra will push out the distracting thoughts. You bring your mind back to your mantra. Say a Buddhist mantra would be Om Mani Padme Hum. Now, if you repeat that and suddenly you find yourself doing it automatically and you're thinking about other things, that's when you say, okay, mind, come on. And you consciously start saying it slowly and repetitively so that your mind becomes used to being like brought back. After you have brought the mind back many, many times, it starts to cooperate. It really does. It's no longer like looking for distractions. So, the mantra meditation, there are groups that say you can pick your own mantra. I also don't tend to believe that. I believe that a mantra should come from a guru, and one that hopefully has a certain amount of realization, knows what he's talking about. Or, you have to have someone who can guide you. When things arise during your meditations, then you say, whoa, I had this experience. Suddenly I got really, really hot. What does that mean? You have someone to go to talk to who knows what's going on. And I find that helpful, and they don't tell you exactly everything, but when you take your problems with meditation to them, or your problems with life, they will help you see what it is. They don't tell you what, da-da-da-da-da-da. They don't direct you like, you have to do this, you have to do that. They help you help yourself in finding what's going on. So in our tradition, it's gurus. They give you a mantra which has what we call a seed word. And a seed word is the word that represents the deity that you're drawn to, or the concept that you're drawn to. One of the main seed word is Om. And usually there's another one attached to it that directs your concentration to the aspect of God you're drawn to. Okay, so you repeat that. Now, this was something that I thought, well, okay. Then I read a book called Yantra, which the seers of ancient India discovered all of these things in the forests. And Yantra, they repeated the seed words. And they drew symbolic pictures. I know you probably have all seen yantras or mandalas, that kind of thing. Okay, and then there are deities. And deities have certain forms, and like Krishna's one, and Rama's one, and Jesus is one. Okay, we all recognize those. Now science came along, and they had people repeat the mantra, and using a certain kind of photography or some kind of thing, it drew the yantra, and it was always consistent with the mantra. So I thought, oh, okay, but these seers in ancient India had found this simply by sitting in the forest and going within. That, to me, shows the power of what our concentration can do. We can reach the universal consciousness. There's different ways to meditate. Group meditation is helpful. Anyone can come and come up to the temple. We have Vespers every evening at 6 o'clock, and there's people who come and meditate together. We don't have guided meditations. It's strictly silence. You do your own meditation, but there are other people doing the same thing you're doing, which helps with the vibration. If you're at home, you can have a quiet music. Sometimes people say that helps, because as long as your mind doesn't go and start singing the tunes or going along with them. If it's something that can calm your mind and is not distracting. Anyway, there are a multitude of ways. Now, Taoist meditation, many of you do Qigong. Qigong is a form of meditation from the Taoist tradition where you're trying to align the inner energy with the outer energy. All of these things are different types of centering meditations. This is one that I have never understood. Emptiness meditation. I truly do not understand it. Somehow, my understanding is fullness meditation, not emptiness. I can't see becoming nothing when you're trying to become the infinite. But that's me. That's why I'm here and not there. Okay, then we have visualizations. Often when you're told to begin with to sit, close your eyes, and visualize something. This helps focus your mind also. Often in Vedantic or yogic, you're given a mantra, you're instructed to visualize for a certain time, and soon your mind becomes calm and you get into not a place of tuned out. That's a dangerous place to get. But a place where you are still totally focused, but not connected to anything. But your mind is completely focused, but it is not latched on to any thing or stuff or thoughts. This is one of the ways, that's basically, I would say, our type of meditation. And if there's lots of books written on it. Christian meditations, they have contemplative prayer. Many of the churches have prayer groups. Contemplative reading, where they will sit with the Bible or another text and read it and think about it deeply. Often it's followed by what they call sitting with God. You can sit anywhere and feel that you are sitting with God. You can sit. One of Swami Prabhavananda's favorite songs was I Walk Through the Garden Alone. And, you all know that old song, I Walk Through the Garden Alone. Yeah, anyway. You can do that. You can sit in your garden and feel you are sitting in the presence of God. Now, Islamic meditation, Sufi meditation, they have also, the goal of theirs is to purify oneself and achieve mystical union with the Supreme. They have many different practices, and they were influenced by the tradition of yoga. They have contemplation of God, which they call muraqabah. Mantra meditation, which they call zakir. Heartbeat meditation, where they concentrate on the gazing meditation, which I don't know exactly how they do that. I would imagine it was gazing and seeing God in everything that is in front of you. And then they have the whirling meditation, the dervishes. And the dervishes whirl in a specific pattern that creates a vibration where they become unaware of the outside world. But in order to keep that whirling going, you have to have utter concentration. So your mind is controlled, you're not zoning out, which is a real problem when people sit to meditate. Often you go, wow, I had a really good meditation, when all you did was kind of go into the semi-sleep state, and sometimes fall sound asleep. I've done that before too. Those are the pitfalls we have to watch for in meditation. Okay, now, I think we covered that. Okay. We have one more religion. There are so many, and I didn't investigate all of them. Okay, there was what is he? Dogen. He went to China and studied. And he says, and this is basically also summarizes all religions, the best way to give up self-attachment is to do good for the benefit of others and to act altruistically without any expectation of reward or fame. There is nothing but the basic requisite for self-detachment. To do so, we must first awaken to the fact that all is vanity. Life is like an empty dream. Time flies like an arrow. Our life is transient as a dewdrop and easy to lose. Time and tide wait for no man. Therefore, we should try to act in accordance with the way and do good to others, however insignificant it is, even for a short time. This was in the teachings of Ramakrishna also, to help anyone you see in what little way you can. Now, that doesn't say we have to go and try and, I remember when I was growing up, in order to get us to clean our plates, they would say, now think of the starving children in China. And I used to think when it was something I didn't like, how are they going to get it if I don't eat it? I mean, or never explained it to me. No, I don't have to think of the starving children in China. Let's think about, the next door neighbor who needs someone to help them get to the grocery store. Something that's in your our eldest nun used to say, help. Don't go looking for people to help. Anyone who comes into your orbit. Start like that. And we do good. We also forget, it lessens our own egos if we do it without expectation of reward. Or someone saying, golly, you're just wonderful. That's so soothing to the ego. The ego loves that. You're such a good person. We all are, in our essence. We don't need those external affirmations of it. And that's the other thing. Prayer and meditation is not to get something in this world. We have side benefits of you usually are healthier. You usually have less stress in your life. And yes, you can meditate to lessen stress. But why? Why not go for the big prize? Why not go for pure joy? What's a little stress if you have pure joy or pure knowledge, pure love? where you wake up every morning and your heart is like full because you feel that joy and you feel that love. And I know everyone has felt it at least once in their life. It may not be because they connected. Every time you fall in love, you connect with the divine a little bit, because you do feel what's possible. Every time you feel that pure joy, you're just happy because you're happy. You have felt it. It's possible to have that all the time through meditation. So when you say, sit down and close your eyes, well, I say, don't just sit there. Do something. Put your mind to work. Put your mind to getting it tamed. Taming your mind. Bringing it to its source. Bring it back to where it started. Which brings everything back to where it started, that place of pure joy and pure love, pure knowledge. Because knowing yourself, you know everyone in the world. Everyone has exactly the same emotions, desires, hopes. We all have them. And I feel that meditation is probably the one sure way to find that. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Filled with Brahman are the things we see. Filled with Brahman are the things we see not. From out of Brahman floweth all. Yet is Brahman still the same. Peace, peace, peace.